Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive,
Hmm.
into a topic that's absolutely crucial for anyone managing complex systems.
Hmm.
Observability.
Mm.
You want to know how your systems are really performing right.
Right.
Well, imagine a world where all your monitoring tools could talk to each other,
Yeah.
sharing data and painting a complete picture of what's happening across your entire tech landscape.
Yeah.
That's the promise of OpenTelemetry. And we're going to explore how it's changing the game.
Yeah.
Our guide for this deep dive is a fantastic article titled The Role of OpenTelemetry in a Unified Observability Strategy.
It's fascinating how this article goes beyond just the technical aspects of open telemetry. It dives right into the business impact.
Yeah.
In today's digital world, a seamless user experience can make or break a company.
Oh, yeah.
Observability isn't just a techie's wish list item.
Right.
It's a strategic imperative.
Absolutely. It's not just about having cool tools, it's about survival.
Right.
We're in a world of distributed systems, cloud deployments, microservices. Things are getting incredibly intricate.
Yeah.
If one small piece malfunctions, it can cascade into a major headache across your entire operation.
Hmm.
I'm sure you've experienced this firsthand. Maybe you've struggled to pinpoint the root cause of an issue because the data is scattered across different tools.
Exactly. That's why the article stresses the need to move beyond traditional monitoring
Right.
to a more holistic approach.
Yeah.
Unified observability. It's about having a crystal clear view of everything,
Okay.
from your infrastructure to your applications and even your users' experiences.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But what does unified observability actually look like in practice?
Mm.
How do we get from a jumbled mess of data to a clear, actionable picture?
Think of it this way. If your systems are a symphony orchestra, OpenTelemetry is the conductor. You have all these different instruments or monitoring tools, each playing their part.
Right.
But without a conductor, it's just noise. OpenTelemetry steps in to harmonize everything, enabling data to flow seamlessly between tools and giving you that much-needed unified perspective.
That's a great analogy. So instead of trying to decipher a cacophony of data points from isolated tools, we get this beautifully orchestrated view of our systems.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, while OpenTelemetry sounds amazing, are there any potential drawbacks or complexities in implementing it?
You bring up a great point.
Yeah.
OpenTelemetry is incredibly powerful,
Mhm.
but it's not a magic wand you wave and everything instantly becomes perfect.
Right.
It does require a thoughtful approach to implementation, especially in larger organizations.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Precisely. The article uses a fictional company called Stylehouse
Okay.
to illustrate how these concepts play out in a real-world setting. They're a mid-size online fashion retailer
Yeah.
dealing with the same challenges many businesses face today.
Yeah.
They have their e-commerce platform on AWS, using CloudWatch for monitoring, but they also have these legacy systems running their distribution center.
Right.
Migrating everything at once isn't realistic.
Ah, so they represent that very common scenario where companies have a mix of old and new technology.
Exactly.
It's not like they can just rip and replace everything overnight.
Right. And that's why their approach is so interesting.
Okay.
They've adopted a layered strategy to observability.
Okay.
They use Dynatrace for in-depth application performance monitoring and traditional tools for their legacy systems.
Okay.
But the glue that binds everything together,
Right.
enabling them to gain insights across their entire tech stack,
Yeah.
is OpenTelemetry.
So they're not ditching their existing tools. They're actually enhancing them with OpenTelemetry to create that single unified view we've been talking about.
Yeah.
That's actually really smart. You don't have to start from scratch. You build on what you already have.
Exactly. And that's one of the great things about OpenTelemetry. It's vendor agnostic.
Yeah.
It can connect data from AWS CloudWatch to Dynatrace to those legacy systems, even to external services like Stripe for payments and their various courier partners.
It's almost like having a universal translator for your monitoring tools. I'm imagining a customer placing an order on Stylehouse's website, and with OpenTelemetry, we can track the entire journey across all these different systems.
Yeah.
We can see how website performance impacts order processing, how payment processing time affects fulfillment, and even how delivery hiccups might influence customer satisfaction.
No, that's a great example.
Yeah.
Think about the level of insight that gives you. Instead of relying on anecdotal reports, you're seeing the data,
Right.
understanding those often invisible connections between systems.
So it's like suddenly having X-ray vision into your entire operation.
Yeah.
And it's not just about seeing what's happening, it's about understanding why it's happening.
Absolutely. That's where the real power of unified observability lies.
Yeah.
It helps you move from reactive firefighting to proactive problem solving.
Right.
But to unlock that level of sophistication, we need to dive into another crucial aspect, AI ops,
Okay.
or artificial intelligence for IT operations.
Ah, yes. The article mentions AI ops quite a bit.
Yeah.
This is where things get really futuristic, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about humans staring at dashboards anymore. It's about machines helping us understand this flood of data.
That's right. But before we get into the specifics of AI ops,
Okay.
let's take a moment to clearly define what we mean by standardized telemetry,
Okay.
because that's the foundation upon which everything else is built. Think of standardized telemetry as a universal language for your monitoring tools.
Okay.
Instead of each tool speaking its own dialect,
Mm-hmm.
they can all communicate seamlessly using a common format.
Right.
It's like everyone suddenly understanding Esperanto,
Yeah.
enabling smooth and efficient data exchange.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's like creating a Rosetta Stone for your systems.
Yeah.
So how does this standardized telemetry actually play into AI ops?
Well, imagine you have an AI ops platform that's constantly analyzing data from all your systems,
Right.
looking for patterns and anomalies.
Mm-hmm.
With traditional siloed monitoring, the AI is working with incomplete information.
Right.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
Yeah. You might see a spike in error rates in one system,
Right.
but you have no idea if it's connected to something happening elsewhere.
Exactly.
It's incredibly frustrating.
Exactly. But with OpenTelemetry providing standardized data from every corner of your tech landscape, the AI suddenly has the full picture. Let's go back to our Stylehouse example.
Okay.
Let's say their AI ops platform, powered by OpenTelemetry data,
Mm-hmm.
notices a sudden surge in error rates from their Manchester distribution center.
Okay.
At the same time, it detects unusually high traffic originating from a specific region of the world.
Wow.
With siloed monitoring, these events might seem unrelated.
Right. You might spend hours troubleshooting the distribution center issue
Yeah.
without realizing it's connected to a potential cyber attack happening elsewhere.
Exactly. But with the unified view provided by OpenTelemetry, the AI can connect the dots.
Yeah.
It recognizes the correlation
Mm-hmm.
and flags it as a potential threat,
Wow.
allowing the security team to respond swiftly and proactively.
That's incredible. So it's not just about finding problems faster.
Right.
It's about understanding the bigger picture
Mm-hmm.
and preventing issues before they even impact users.
Precisely. It's about moving from reactive
Hello.
to predictive operations. And that's where OpenTelemetry's true value shines.
Okay.
It empowers organizations to not only see what's happening right now,
Mm-hmm.
but to anticipate potential issues before they arise.
Right.
It's like having a crystal ball for your systems,
Yeah.
allowing you to make data-driven decisions
Right.
and keep everything running smoothly.
Okay, this all sounds fantastic in theory, but I imagine getting to this level of observability is a pretty daunting task,
Yeah.
especially for organizations with large, complex systems. It can't happen overnight, right?
You're absolutely right. As we've discussed, it's a journey.
Right.
The key is to start strategically. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Right.
Begin by assessing your current monitoring landscape. What tools are you already using? Where are the biggest gaps in your visibility?
Right.
Where are you spending the most time firefighting instead of innovating?
So it's about understanding your starting point,
Right.
identifying the areas where OpenTelemetry can bring the most value,
Exactly.
and then gradually integrating it into your existing infrastructure.
Exactly. You don't have to rip and replace everything you have.
Right.
Look back at Stylehouse.
Yeah.
They didn't abandon their existing CloudWatch and Dynatrace implementations.
Right.
They enhanced them with OpenTelemetry,
Mhm.
layering in that unified visibility piece by piece.
That's a much more manageable approach. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a massive overhaul,
Right.
you focus on incremental improvements that deliver immediate value.
Right. And as you start seeing those benefits,
Yeah.
faster troubleshooting, improved performance, fewer outages,
Yeah.
it creates a positive feedback loop.
Okay.
You build momentum, gain buy-in across the organization,
Right.
and that fuels further adoption of OpenTelemetry.
It's about proving the value, demonstrating that this isn't just another shiny new tech toy,
Yeah.
but a fundamental shift in how we manage and understand our systems.
Absolutely. And speaking of fundamental shifts,
Yeah.
the article also touches on the connection between OpenTelemetry
Okay.
and the principles of SRE, or Site Reliability Engineering.
Oh, yes, SRE. We haven't really discussed that yet.
Yeah.
This is where things get really interesting for me because SRE is all about building and operating systems that are highly reliable
Mm-hmm.
and scalable.
Right.
And from what I understand, that's pretty hard to do without deep, comprehensive observability.
Yeah.
It's almost like they go hand in hand.
You hit the nail on the head. OpenTelemetry provides the rich data and insights,
Right.
the raw material, so to speak. And SRE principles provide the framework for how to effectively use that information to automate operations, improve resilience,
Right.
and ultimately deliver a better user experience.
So instead of just reacting to problems,
Yeah.
you're using that data to prevent problems from happening in the first place.
Exactly.
That's powerful stuff. But could you give me a more concrete example of how OpenTelemetry and SRE work together in the real world?
Sure. Imagine a scenario where one of your services starts experiencing increased latency
Right.
without proper observability.
Right.
You might not even notice the problem until users start complaining.
And then it's already too late. You're in firefighting mode, scrambling to figure out what's going on.
Right. But now, let's say you have OpenTelemetry providing granular performance data,
Okay.
and you've implemented SRE principles like defining service level objectives, or SLOs. The SLOs clearly state the acceptable levels of latency for that service.
So you have a clear benchmark for what good looks like.
Exactly. And because OpenTelemetry is constantly monitoring performance, it can automatically detect when latency exceeds the defined SLO.
So you have early warning system in place.
Precisely. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Let's say you've also used SRE principles to build automated remediation processes.
Okay.
When OpenTelemetry detects the SLO violation, it triggers those automated processes.
Right.
These processes might involve things like scaling up resources,
Oh.
rerouting traffic,
Right.
or restarting certain components.
Wow. So the system is essentially healing itself.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's the power of combining OpenTelemetry with SRE principles.
Wow.
You move from reactive firefighting to proactive self-healing.
Okay.
You're not just observing,
Right.
you're acting.
Right.
And this leads to another key benefit,
Okay.
the ability to continuously improve your systems.
How so?
Well, by constantly gathering data and analyzing how your systems respond to different events, you can identify areas for optimization.
You're essentially learning from every incident, every anomaly.
Right. You can use this data to refine your SLOs, tweak your automated remediation processes, and make your systems even more resilient and efficient over time. It's a continuous cycle of learning and improvement.
This is all really fascinating stuff. But I'm realizing that we've been talking about OpenTelemetry and unified observability in a pretty abstract sense. I think it would be helpful to bring it down to earth a bit and talk about what this all means for our listeners, for the people who are actually dealing with these challenges on a daily basis. What are some key takeaways they can apply to their own organizations?
That's a great point. It's easy to get lost in the technical details and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right,
So
wow.
let's shift gears and talk about how our listeners can start applying these concepts in their own work. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of our listener for a minute.
Okay.
They're probably managing a complex system, dealing with maybe a dozen different monitoring tools, and feeling the pain of data silos.
Yeah.
What's the first step they should take on this journey toward unified observability?
I'd say the most important thing is to simply start asking questions. Don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, what are our biggest observability challenges?
Right.
Are we struggling to get a complete picture of how our systems are performing? Are we spending too much time reacting to problems instead of preventing them?
It's like taking inventory of your pain points, right?
Yeah.
Figure out where those blind spots are and where unified observability can have the biggest impact.
Exactly. And once you've identified those areas, start exploring how OpenTelemetry can help. Maybe you're already using some of the tools we've discussed, like CloudWatch or Dynatrace.
Yeah.
Think about how OpenTelemetry could enhance those tools, enabling them to share data and provide a more holistic view.
It's not about replacing everything you have. It's about making what you have work better.
Right.
It's about connecting those dots.
Exactly. And remember, The journey to unified observability doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Yeah.
You don't need to boil the ocean.
Right.
Start with a small, manageable project,
Mm-hmm.
maybe focusing on a specific service or application.
Right.
Implement OpenTelemetry, gather data, and start demonstrating the value.
It's about building momentum,
Right.
proving the concept,
Yeah,
and then gradually expanding from there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of collaboration.
Yeah.
Involve different teams,
Mm-hmm.
developers, operations, security
Right.
in the process.
Yeah.
Unified observability isn't just a technical solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cultural shift.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down silos,
Right.
fostering shared understanding,
Mm-hmm.
and empowering everyone to contribute to building more reliable and resilient systems.
It's about getting everyone on the same page, speaking the same language,
Right.
and working towards the same goals.
Exactly. And with OpenTelemetry as the common thread,
Mm-hmm.
that shared understanding becomes much easier to achieve.
Right.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I encourage our listeners to embrace the possibilities of unified observability.
It's not about chasing the latest shiny tech trend.
Right.
It's about solving real problems.
Yeah.
And creating a better future for your systems,
Yeah.
your teams,
Right.
and ultimately your users.
It's about making informed decisions,
Yeah.
proactively preventing issues,
Yeah.
and continuously improving your operations.
And with OpenTelemetry as your guide, you can unlock those possibilities and navigate the complexities of modern digital landscapes with confidence.
This has been an incredibly insightful journey into the world of unified observability.
Yeah, it has.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.